Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at a 4-minute guide to Graves, and Graves may not be quite as amazing as the first patch of preseason, but he's still strong and one of the best for learning AD carry if you're kind of new to the role. He does rely on his abilities for a lot of his damage, which by the way do a ton while also having a good amount of utility. His smokescreen is great when used properly, he's safe with his dash, he has the bonus armor and magic resist, he has the bonus attack speed. Like, this guy has a very complete, well-rounded kit. For masteries, we're going pretty standard, 18-12, going for the Keystone Warlord's Bloodlust. We could also go for something like Deathfire's Touch here with our abilities, but we're going to be building a ton of crit, which makes Warlord's Bloodlust just too good to pass up. For runes, we have a little bit of choice, but AD reds, armor yellows, and magic resist blues are pretty standard. For quints, the normal B3 attack speed. This is pretty good, but we can also go for 1 attack speed and 2 AD to make our abilities hit a little bit harder. If you're going to do that, then you might want to take some more attack speed in your blues too. So for build, there are actually a lot of different choices here, but we're going to be going through the ones I think are best. So first back, you really want to aim for that BF sword, especially now it's cheaper. It gives you a ton of damage and is really going to help you get kills when you hit that level 6. Essence Reaver simply is just too good to pass up on an ability based AD carry. Essence Reaver is a huge spike, but really you're at your strongest after you add your Shiv into this. Shiv will give you that extra burst, the crit up to your cooldown reduction with Essence Reaver, and attack speed to deal more sustained damage. Instead of the Shiv, you can actually also get a rapid fire cannon. It's kind of personal preference, but I prefer the burst with Shiv. Rounding out the build, we'll be getting our Infinity Edge to boost our ability damage and make our crits hurt even more. That is your core really. After that you have a little bit of freedom, but in my opinion you should get some lifesteal and then most likely some kind of defense. The other choice is skipping the Shiv completely and just going for full AD and crit. It's going to make your abilities hurt even more, but you won't be doing as well with your auto attacks. So the first stage of the game, the lane phase. Graves used to be this huge lane bully, and well, he still is, but he's not quite as strong early as before. Actually, he is strong, but just in a different way. Like, Graves used to be able to poke through waves and just out-trade you, but now it's more of an all-in playstyle. A lot of Graves' damage will actually come from his shotgun passive autos. Now, while they do a ton of damage anyway, if you're right next to someone, then you can hit them with almost all of them and do some serious damage. Remember as well that this gets even better once you build some crit. It's a critical strike will double the amount of shots fired. Moving on to his Q, it's great wave clear and great harass. The best thing you can actually do is to fire it down the wave, hit the enemy champion at the tip, and then score another chunk of damage when it explodes and returns. A cheeky way of actually getting even more damage with his Q is to try and think of it like a vein condemn. If you can use it at an enemy with a wall behind them, then they'll instantly take that second chunk of damage. Clever use of his smoke screen or his W can actually really make a difference in bot lane too. You want to try not to use it too often because you will run out of mana, but when you do go for a full out fight, you can either use it on the enemy AD to stop them attacking back, or you can use it on the enemy support to stop them helping. I actually personally love doing the second. Like, you fight, you smoke screen the one you aren't focusing, and it's basically a 2v1. Basically, if you haven't got it already, your plan in lane is to farm a little early, and after your first back, you start to bring the pain. Holy crap, that was cheesy. So moving on to team fighting. On Graves, it's relatively simple, which is why I think he's one of the easiest AD carries to learn with. As with any AD carry, you kind of want to stay at the back and attack the closest target most of the time, but you do want to try and aim your abilities past the first guy and hit those behind too. The main things you want to focus on are using your ultimate over as many people as possible. This is a real source of your damage mid-game. The second thing is how to use your E properly. Like, if there is something you're waiting to dodge like an Ari charm, then save it. Otherwise, you want to be using it for the increased attack speed and boost in damage. Don't just sit there the entire fight and not use it at all. Next up, using smokescreen to zone, block parts of the map, or just shroud a group of enemies. Like, I'm not joking when I say that this is seriously underrated. So I hope you guys enjoyed this 4-minute guide, and this should be everything you need to know to get started with Graves. Let me know who you want me to do next in the description. I'm going to be doing mid champions as well, and I'll catch you in my next video.